What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing very well indeed. Something slightly different to the sort of normal run-of-the-mill Sorare stuff, where it would be me, cashing in rewards and just cashing pure rewards nowadays. In terms of just lineup builders and Sorare shops and whatever we do over here, Sorare had a gameplay update, and I thought instead of just having a little skim of it, because it was quite a chunky one this time, let's review it. So I figured I want to do this on a video format. I'm going to do it one take only. Now, I have read some of this. Obviously, I was on Live for Lock with Mike. We spoke about it a little bit, and then things have come up where I'm off to New York for a little while, so there will be a slight delay in some of the news and stuff that we get to. But I thought, yeah, I'm going to run this through here, and let's do it. So basically, at Sorare, we're committed to continuously enhancing our gameplay experience. After reviewing Sorare's pro comps, we identified a few areas to improve for the rest of the season. I think there was a few areas. We can say that. I think there's a lot of areas. They've done some stuff that have well this year. Let's give them credit where it's due. But there were things that had been neglected for a little bit too long, is what we'd say. But it's good. There's a big update now. So we're making adjustments to underdog and contender caps to add more excitement into each game week. Additionally, we know special weeklies are very important to inject more dynamism and utility for our managers' galleries. We're committed to bringing them back for the rest of the season, along with an improved rewards pool. This is what we've been asking for since like game week 3 of season 2. So whatever you may feel about how late it is, it's here. It's a very, very good thing that from now on, we are getting those special weeklies every single week. It will add, like I've said on many, many streams, many videos, it gives new users and also the current existing player base like myself with a decent sized gallery the reason now to trade or to chop and change your gallery, move in and out of cards a bit more, because there wasn't that. Every week we knew it was going to be contender, champion, underdog. And underdog for me had been bad. Like, not just like, it was literally a throwaway lineup. It's whatever I could fit in. I wasn't really fussed because you was never going to put the best low 10 card, like low L10 guys in there, because you'd rather play them in champion contender. It's as simple as that, really. In aggregate, we've added rewards across competitions to ensure managers feel accomplished after a hard-fought game week. These include pro cards, cash or ETH, official NBA items, and primary market credits. These updates are part of our ongoing efforts to deliver the best Sorare NBA experience, and they will be implemented starting game week 29. So the next game week, essentially, is where we're going to be going onto it. So let's do it in detail. If I just make sure I zoom in a little bit so we can see these in depth. So underdog's going from 60 to 75 as the cap, and contender 110 to 120. It doesn't seem like much, but that really will be a big difference, especially in underdog, because you could basically get away with like 3 guys with an L10 of 6 or lower, and then 2 studs, and you had to have the main guys that week that are in that sort of lineup. Contender, I don't think it will move too much, but I now think there is an avenue where there were guys between L10s of 30 and 40, and they were a bit of they were very neglected. They were very hard to get into lineups because you weren't going to put them in champion necessarily. Now there is a potential scope to have one of those 30 to 40 guys that would normally be a bit of an awkward L10 in there. Underdog, I think, is a massive improvement off the bat. There's now 3 tier 1s in limited underdog, so you can now actually win the best card in that scarcity if you win that competition, and some tier 2s as well to go alongside it. And of course, we're looking at $1,350 of primary market credits in there, alongside $1,150 primary market credits in the rare underdog. So what's that? $2,500 each game week worth of credits. The credits work where they only count to 25. Primary market credits are 25% discounts up to a certain amount of use of the primary market. So I'm not sure if they stack. I've never actually won a primary market credit as well, so I don't even know. I don't know if they do stack or not, but it will inject some form of boost into the market. My only concern is whenever we do see, it's tough to call this artificial sort of enhancements or artificial engagement where they're moving with the market, but whenever we've seen this before, like we did with the playoffs last year, where if you bought up until a certain date, you got a 25% bonus, it does make things a little bit weird in terms of the disparities between cards. So again, we're looking at this where they've put all of this effort into primary market credits, and it's a good thing. It's still a good thing for myself. I would use it if I won them. There are going to be new users that will use it. There's, of course, going to be some people that don't want to buy any more new cards for the time being. But I think there has to be a little bit of focus on the secondary market. And that's because if it gets neglected too much, people will get put off of trying to buy new cards because then they're simply impossible to sell. And don't get me wrong, So Rare can still make money on the secondary market. I think it's 5% currently at the moment that they take. I've always said that I feel there should be a scarcity level to it. So maybe do it as 5% or 10% for a limited card sale on the secondary market, and then do 5% for a rare and 2% for a super rare or something like that, just to try and give another reason where you're not only making money through the primary market, So Rare can make it through the secondary, and just bring a bit of a balance into it. I think that's all that needs to be wary of, because I think if we try and look ahead a few months' time, we might get an issue where the secondary market is nowhere near the primary, but that's for another debate. In Rare Underdog now, you can win the best rare tier card, and there's also a tier 2 in there. So again, Rare Underdog was 20 cards beforehand. I assume it's now 22, unless they've just taken out a tier 4 and tier 5 and replaced it with this. I don't know what they've done. But again, now you can win the best thing in Rare Underdog. Can't moan at that. Very, very nice indeed. Limited contender, primary market credits, and they now go. So if you're 1,000th to the top 20%, you get in primary market credits. If these stack, these are very, very. This is a good thing. It's only beneficial, because if you're trying to complete new sets, you're going to want to get them on auction anyway. So this is only beneficial. Same thing with Rare Contender. Primary market credits again. I don't know if they stack is the issue. Super Rare Contender, I was kind of hoping for a little bump in the reward pool. You only get paid a reward on card for top 13. Now, I know the percentage-wise of it will be a little bit different and probably in line with the rest. But finishing top 13 and getting a tier 5 Super Rare is tough. And also in Super Rare Contender, I don't know if this was a thing last year, but if you win Super Rare Contender, I'm pretty confident. Let's double check this quickly. If you win Super Rare Contender, let me jump over to the football side. You don't win the best card. You don't win a tier 1, which I don't understand if that's the case. Let me just double check. I am speaking the truth. So in Rare Contender, you win it, you win a tier 1. In Limited Contender, I know if you win it, you win a tier 1. It's like top 50. Yeah. Obviously, there's more to go around. Don't get me wrong. And then in Super Rare Contender, yeah, you get a tier 2 Super Rare and a tier 1 Rare. And that just seems the progression element that we've always spoke about here. It seems a little bit skewed on that then, that if you win Super Rare Contender, you then don't get a tier 1 to then go into Super Rare Champion. Whereas in Rare Contender, if you win that, you win a tier 1 that in theory you can then use as your MVP in Rare Champion. So I would like that to kind of be looked at potentially, but here nor there. I think this update is still very, very good. It was the one thing I saw. I was like, I kind of wish there was a little bit more. But the primary market credits, good again. And they could probably argue, if these stack, that if you win in Super Rare Contender and top 20% and enough, you can earn enough and earn enough and earn enough to take 25% off of a big MVP purchase that you can then compete for. So there's swings and roundabouts with it. But I think in terms of overall progression, I would like to see a tier 1 in Super Rare Contender, just top spot. Even if you take the rare card away from it and just balance it in a different way, I think there has to be some logical ladder between each thing. Champion. So limited champion now we're talking. No changes in the points cap, obviously. We've got more ETH in Rare Champ. So everyone was moaning about Rare Champion rewards. I'm not necessarily sure what this ETH potentially means. So again, if we go on to it now, what it will show for the next set of rewards, they need to update that because there's Christmas Day cards and then you can't win them anymore. So again, we're looking at $750 for winning it, a Super Rare tier 4 and a rare tier 1. Do we need to be paying Super Rares in top 5 potentially? Maybe they could go in contender. Top 3, yeah. 4th and 5th, maybe not. I don't mind again the payout structure for this. You're getting $5, $7, $10 if you finish in the top 5%. It's fine. It's good for in each week. Again, this is what you have to think about. This isn't just like, oh, it's terrible. It's only $10. The game weeks, there's 2 of them a week. So it does stack up pretty quickly along that realm for it. I think the addition to tier 5s were nice. I'd still like to see it a little bit better than top 65 because that is hard. But look, we'll choose our battles for it. I think the increase in ETH is a good thing. Same thing with Red Champion now. Super Red Champion, a little bit of a bump in ETH each week or cash, however you want to see it. And just an overall increase in the rewards. It's not something we can moan about per se. Now, I spoke to a few of the other guys that got bigger galleries. They seem to see it as a pretty positive sign. And there is one thing that I do want to get into that we haven't got onto yet. The one thing I will say, though, is on Rare Champion, Slightly reduced card rewards are now part of special rare weeklies. We offset this by increasing cash rewards by $325. Added primary market credits to reward a larger share of managers in the top 20%. Now, if we jump back onto actually viewing this on Rare Champion as well. So I'm not sure where the change came. I assume they've reduced the amount of tier threes and like by 1 or 2 in this instance. Like if you finish 5th now, you get a tier 2. I assume before you got tier 1. So obviously they're working within a different, because the card mints were reduced this year. They're working to a different level. But I think in terms of where Rare Champion we wanted it to get to, the cash is fine to add. It's obviously we'll see again how this plays out. I want to give it like 10 game weeks and still see how you feel about it each week, how easy these are to hit, and go from there. Because I still think Rare Champion needs a little bit of tweaking, is what we'll say. But we'll wait and see. Because now Rare Champion isn't the be all and end all. Contender's bigger, underdog you can win the best card. And obviously, like we mentioned over here, they have special weeklies. We're bringing back special weeklies for the rest of the season, adding an extra layer of excitement and strategy to your Sorare NBA experience. Plus, we're using special weeklies as a testing ground for new and engaging gameplay that can one day turn into a permanent competition, like what happened with Underdog last year. Shaped by your participation and feedback, we want you to share your ideas for future special weeklies. The first few editions of special weeklies will be the ones you're familiar with. To get things started, we're bringing back the Eastern Conference Special Weekly for Game Weeks 29 and 30, and then for 31 and 32, it'll be the Western Conference. Now, just before I go on and rare this, so you need 3 current season cards, no matter what, by the looks of it. If it's common, well, common's obviously going to be the same. Limited, rare, or super rare and unique. Now, big win that there is special weeklies now for common. We needed more places to play common cards and to win more common cards in, because it is the backbone and the fundamental part of bringing people into the game, getting them hooked, and then they're moving up the scarcities. When there was just 1, it was very, very tough to do that. Essentially is how I saw it. So now that there's this and you can potentially win for some NBA store credits or league passes or whatever it'll be, good, great idea. You should probably put in here some primary market credits, because people that don't have any cards would see that as a more of a beneficial reward than someone playing in rare, is all I'll say, right? But it's a good thing. Nonetheless, it's a good thing to have this. The one thing I have a little thing with is 3 current season cards across the board seems a bit wrong. I think you can look at limited and go 3 or 4. Absolutely. Maybe even, 3, maybe 4, depending on the game week. You need 3 new season cards for this. 3 rares or 3 brand new super rares is a bit of a rough one for people that had invested in season, well, not invested, but having 3 new season cards for rare and super rare, and also like in the unique and the expert competition, it's a bit of a rough one for people who bought cards in season 1 only. And obviously, I know Sorare need to have existing people buy the new cards, but I feel like it should be almost 3 or 4 in limited, 2 in rare, 2 or 3 in rare, and then 1 or 2 in super rare. That's how I would see this, because especially when you're asking for it a couple days before, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks before All-Star break, it's a tough one. It's a tough ask, I feel, for people that have got big super rare galleries. And don't get me wrong, I know I've got a few super rares now, but I am nowhere near playing and competing in super rare. So it's not because of that. It's just a bit of a tough one, I would see, if you had a gallery of 50 super rare season 1s and you've been waiting for the update to come, and now you can't even plan it unless you have 3 super rares from season 2. It's a tough one. If you had 1 to go out and buy 1 each week, I could maybe understand that. And I'd 100% understand that. But that's just how, that's my thoughts and feelings on it. These are the rewards for it. So we've got paying now to 20% with a $1 market credit with season 1. Oh, sorry, I thought I said a dollar sign. Yeah, this is going really well. Season 1, $1 primary market credits, $3 primary market credits, and then they're paying down to top 350 in cards. So again, if you finish top 50 in East Limited, you get a tier 1. That's really, really... And again, this will now take cards away from Champion and Contender, which then would make it a little bit easier to then win in Champion and Contender, and also Underdog, don't get me wrong. East Rare, so now top 4 earn a tier 1. Again, for me, that should be top 3. Just do a podium. Do what you do in football. Don't worry about top 4. But again, I'm not... Small little things here is all I'm saying. Add that tier 1 rare into Rare Champion. Put it in there, or into Rare Contender, or whatever. Somewhere else is where that can go. Take the rares off of the super rare stuff, because people that are winning super rares necessarily don't not all of them will be focusing on the rare side as well. So maybe there's an angle to look at for changing things up. Top 30 wins a tier 3, top 75. So this pays out better than rare champion. So if you finish top 75, you get a tier 5. But in rare champ, if we scroll on back to this, yeah, if you finish top 65, if you finish 75 in rare champion, the core game mode, you don't win anything. But if you finish 75 in the new weekly game mode, you win something. So, and that's the one where then you need the new cards for it as well. So again, I don't necessarily agree with that. I love that this is here. Don't get me wrong. I'm not just now moaning because there's stuff. I love that there is new stuff each week to chop and change your gallery for. I just think that if your champion game mode is paying less than the new one, that's wrong. That would be like if you saw this East Limited one paying more than Limited Champion, right? Limited Champion pays down to, where does it pay down to? Top 700 with 30 rares in it. And this is now paying to top 350. So do you see my point is all I'm saying there. So again, not complaining at it, just find it a little odd is what I'll say. But Sorare will have the data for it. And then on the East Expert stuff, you come first, you get $200, second $200, third $100 in ETH or in cash rewards, and then primary market credits down here as well. Again, I'm not sure if you're playing in this realm at East Expert and you're playing in the super rares and uniques, what the top 20% of these managers are going to do with $15 market credits. I'm sure they've consulted them in some form, but that would be my understanding from it. And is this on top? So Eastern Conference on top. So if you come, hold up, if you come first in East Limited, you get a tier 1 and a $250 NBA store card. Okay, so that's very good. That's excellent. And even this is better than league passes. Down here for the expert people, again, probably don't need a league pass. But if they're winning NBA store gift, I know they'll probably want something different for it. But again, very, very solid rewards that are in here. Same with rare. So if you come 25th in East Rare now, you would win a tier 3 and a $15 NBA store card for 25th. If you come 25th in rare champion, you get $25 in a tier 3. Okay, yeah, so that makes sense. You're getting a $15 store card and a tier 3, or versus you're getting a $25 in cash and a tier 3. That makes complete sense. The other way doesn't make sense, but that's here nor there. But that's very, very good. That's very, very strong to hear. And then at the end, we've got a little teaser for the All-Star Game week, All-Star Game break that's coming up. Very good to hear that as well, that they're going to have special edition cards to commemorate this. I think we'll see this for the All-Star break. We saw this Christmas Day. That means then I reckon we'll get All-Star cards, and then potentially I'd love to see them do like winner cards. So whoever wins the slam dunk contest, whoever wins the skill challenge, whoever wins the 3-point contest, I'd love to see that person get the special edition card, because they've done this on football in the past. When a team has won the league, that whole team got special collections. I'd like to see that happen. We'll wait and see what it is, but they're always really good, especially for collections. And I think that means we'll also see that come the playoffs. I think that'll be something that they do. And then updates to limited tip-off and street ball to round off this thing. Street ball's getting reward cash changes. I'm not sure what that means, because street ball was in a bit of a funky one, is what we'll say, because there was a lot of money in there that that didn't make sense, and that's what they've changed. Top 63 at $63. So that was used to be 700, which is good. This is a good thing. Street ball, I think, is there for legislation, is what I assume, that they have to have some form of cash offered if they're doing it, and they should just make it the minimal amount that they can, because no one goes into the game week and goes, yes, let me build my street ball lineup right now. So that's a positive. They've reassigned the money that they had there elsewhere. Good thinking. Limited tip-off, also good. They've reduced the limited scoring bonus down to 20%, and they've reduced, I assume, they have reduced the card rewards, because they haven't said improved, they've said altered. So I can't see this. Limited tip-off envisioned as a bridge for new managers toward progression to scarcity competition has unfortunately been susceptible to exploitation. Yes, this has been with all of the multi-accounting. Recognizing this, we implement the following measures to uphold the integrity of this competition. Good. Okay, that's a very, very good thing. These changes reflect our unwavering commitment to play fair in a balanced environment. By addressing these issues head on, we aim to maintain the spirit of progression and fair competition that led limited tip-off that lead limited tip-off was designed to embody. There we go. Finally, we're altering rewards to street ball while the competition offers more ways to set lineups. We want to make sure other competitions are engaging and rewarding. Wow, that was a mouthful for it there. And then a conclusion to round it off. And you know what? I think overall, all of that sort of stuff was positive. The only thing I will say as well on top is the special weeklies where they mentioned, and let me just jump back onto that as well, because where they mentioned here that they're going to engage with people and members of the community to discuss different competitions that they could potentially have. I think we'll see East and West, like we've got confirmed. We'll see the all offensive. We'll see the all defensive. We'll see under 23s, I imagine. I'd like to see a competition on the special weekly that does the bridging again. So it needs 3 limiteds, 2 rares. And it needs 3 rares, 2 super rares, or 4 rares, 1 super rare, something like that. Because then there's an excuse. If you're also requiring new season cards or even old ones, it gives people a reason to try and go into the new scarcity without playing the core modes of contender, champion, underdog this year. I think that is I think that's the next thing that I'd love to see. Because if we're talking like that in terms of progression, the laddering steps, there is no reason, if you're a big rare player, to move into super rare. There isn't that connection. Because you're not going to win 5 rare champions in a year. It just unless you've got a gallery so big enough and rare, at that point you would be in super rare, if you know what I mean. So I'd like to see those weekly competitions experiment with having the bridge of limited to rare and playing the two together, and also rare and super rare and playing the two together. That's what I would like to see more of. Thank you very much for watching this video. I know it was a long one, so if you've been here around the entirety of the time for it, I certainly need a drink because I've been speaking for about 20 minutes straight. But thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video, comment down below some stuff that you would like to see Sorare change in the future. But I think overall, we can definitely proclaim this update is a very, very good one. It wasn't another update of an update or an update of an announcement pending. It was a solid update with a lot of changes that we as a community asked for, is what I will say. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.